We are heading to a six-figure Bitcoin. All right. So now here's my question. Shout out to everybody who is a cryptocurrency investor, cryptocurrency advocate. You guys know I'm behind cryptocurrency 100%, mostly Bitcoin. Right. Shout out to Ethereum. Shout out to Solana. Shout out to some of the meme coins that we talk about. But in regards to politics, when the political season first began, one thing that I told people is that there's a group, a constituency that is not really an official formation yet. However, the presence and the influence is growing, and that is the cryptocurrency community, the cryptocurrency advocates, quote unquote, tech bros, people like that, futurists, AI people. And as you guys know, I'm one of those. So what I want to do is I want to ask the people who are cryptocurrency investors, people who are invested in tech in emerging markets. My question for you all is, who do you all see creating a highly likely next 4 years of increased profitability and portfolio growth? Do you see a Kamala Harris presidency bringing us closer to a six-figure Bitcoin faster than a Trump presidency, or the reverse? What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this article here from Bitcoin.com news that's discussing the pathway to a six-figure Bitcoin. Now, why is that important? It's important because a lot of my subscribers are Bitcoin investors, Bitcoin holders. You know what I'm saying? And what I want to know is, would you like to get to a $100,000 Bitcoin sooner or later? Here's an even better question. Being that Bitcoin is the underlying current of the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem, my question for you all is, how would a $100,000 Bitcoin affect your portfolio? How would it affect your wealth? Would it increase your wealth or would it decrease your wealth? Why am I asking these questions? Because once we figure out what that would do to your wealth, we're going to reverse engineer that decision tree and then go back to the presidential pathway of those things occurring faster. Because if we can figure out predetermined results, what we need to do then is, if those predetermined results are good results, we need to bring them closer to the current timeline. If they're bad results, then we need to push them back as far as we can. And in the time that we push them back, try to create other information or try to gather other data and analysis to make that future event not happen at all. Okay. So now here it says Bitcoin could reach six figures sooner than expected, driven by surging institutional flows into exchange traded funds, which is ETFs, economic instability, and the U.S. presidential election, according to the chief investment officer of asset management firm Bitwise. The executive highlights factors like growing GOP support for cryptocurrencies and inflation concerns pushing investors towards Bitcoin. With regulatory clarity and supply constraints from the Bitcoin halving, he predicts a rapid surge is imminent. So what I want to know from you guys is, what is the time frame that you think is going to be for this rapid surge? Matt Hougan, chief investment officer of asset management firm Bitwise, shared an updated outlook on Bitcoin Friday on social media platform X, highlighting the crypto's potential to reach six figures driven by a range of market forces. He wrote, among the key factors propelling Bitcoin's trajectory, Hougan noted the sharp rise in exchange-traded fund flows, with billions flowing into spot Bitcoin ETFs. And we've talked about that earlier. I'll link the videos on this channel in the cards that pop up as you watch the video. So as you see the cards pop up, if you're interested in these things, make sure you hit them. Hougan believes the increasing institutional interest is a significant driver of Bitcoin's rise. The Bitwise executive also cited the U.S. presidential election as a major influence, with different outcomes likely to affect Bitcoin's future. A potential GOP victory by former U.S. President Donald Trump is seen as favorable to cryptocurrencies. Okay, so that is very important. While a Democratic win might pose more regulatory challenges. And as you guys know, in the quote unquote love letter from Kamala, she said that she's going to quote unquote regulate cryptocurrencies. So there's that, right? However, Hougan recently noted that even within the Democratic Party, figures like Representative Maxine Waters have softened their stance, suggesting a potential shift in crypto regulation. So there's that, right? Not eliminating crypto regulation or deregulating it, just a quote unquote shift in how it's done. All right. Economic factors such as the infinite U.S. deficits are another driver. With bipartisan acknowledgement of the country's worsening fiscal imbalance, many investors are turning to Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Additionally, China's economic stimulus efforts and global interest rate cuts, particularly by the U.S. Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, are contributing to Bitcoin's bullish momentum. Okay. Recently, Hugin revised his outlook on how fast Bitcoin could rise. Following a 5% surge in Bitcoin's price, driven by Democratic candidate Kamala Harris's proposed regulatory framework for crypto, Hugin noted that even small pieces of favorable news could trigger substantial market movements. He observed that this rally, which funneled $555 million into Bitcoin ETFs, illustrates how much quote-unquote dry powder is waiting on the sidelines for clearer regulatory conditions. Hugin believes that if regulatory clarity comes sooner, Bitcoin could break past $80,000 much faster than anticipated. So shout out to everybody that's watching. What that means is that the timer is ticking right now. So whatever the current price is, I would say, let's just make a rough estimate. You guys can tell me in the comment section what the price is when you watch the video. But whatever the price is right now, I'm going to say $63,000. We have a time frame of 63 to 83, depending on the growth velocity. And you guys know when it comes to cryptocurrency, the growth velocity could come at light speed, regardless of how big the coin is. Cryptocurrency, you know what I'm saying, Bitcoin at $80,000. It can move just as fast as something like Shiba at less than a penny. Depending on what kind of news happens, the cryptocurrency reacts extremely quickly. All right. Moreover, the Bitwise CIO continues to highlight that Bitcoin halving creates a supply constraint, which has historically driven prices higher. Natural economics, right? Lastly, he noted the accumulation of Bitcoin by large holders or whales signals strong confidence in its long-term potential. In summary, Hugin's analysis reflects a combination of institutional inflows, political factors, economic policies, and on-chain activity, driving Bitcoin towards a possible six-figure price, with a rapid surge possible as soon as the regulatory environment becomes favorable. And for the most part, this is just a repeat of a long story that anybody that's been in cryptocurrency for a long time has kind of been waiting out. All right. So again, we need to answer these questions in regards to our own investment strategies. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at this article from Fox Business. All right. And, you know, it's a video of, you know what I'm saying, but I called it an article. And what they're talking about is the effects of the Biden administration on crypto in its current form. All right. And as you guys know, when it comes to quote unquote Kamala Harris, she's on record saying that she wouldn't do anything different. So if she doesn't do anything different, my question is, what's the likelihood of an extension of these things that are being discussed here?
Welcome back. Crypto could play a big role in this year's election, with the voting bloc growing on both sides of the aisle. A new poll conducted by the Digital Chamber in partnership with X and Y finds 1 in 7 likely voters say crypto is a key issue for the 2024 election. Joining us now is the Digital Chamber founder and CEO, Perrianne Boring. Perrianne, great to see you.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell us about the crypto voting bloc and what you've learned.
I would love to introduce America to the crypto voter bloc, because I think most people have underestimated the power of crypto at the polls. We're releasing our national survey today.
And I said that as well. And I've said that all throughout my content. This is nothing new. But here's my question. How many people consider themselves, quote unquote, part of the quote unquote crypto voting bloc? Now, you might not be as aggressive as to say that you're a cryptocurrency voter, right? Shout out to my people on the couch. But you might definitely say that you are a crypto advocate or a crypto investor or a crypto interested party, which means that you might not be as compelled to vote on these things because of other issues that you prioritize higher. However, you are still very interested and akin to regulatory and political issues that affect the cryptocurrency community. Let me know where you stand on those things.
We found that 1 in 7 active voters, not registered voters, these are the people most likely to show up to the polls, are saying that crypto play significant influence in going to vote for polls, both president as well as for congressional seats.
I know a couple of months ago, President Trump spoke at the big crypto conference over the weekend. Do those people who are part of the people that you've surveyed, are they looking at policy changes from a President Trump or policy changes from a potential President Kamala Harris?
To be honest, I think the bar is so low at this point for what the industry feels like they need from its government. The past 4 years, we have set the industry back at least a decade here in the United States. We have had an extremely aggressive regulation by enforcement regime. You've had really a witch hunt, and it has driven crypto companies and investors and innovators outside of the United States. Businesses need
I agree 110%. Anybody knows it's been disastrous in crypto up until recently, and even still, those risks for disastrous, the SEC just deciding to eye certain exchanges or decide to just target certain cryptocurrencies. We know that these are things that could happen almost spontaneously at any moment, simply because of the lack of understanding of future tech and the lack of understanding of cryptocurrency. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, man, but you still got people out there saying that Bitcoin is a scam. You still got people out there saying that, this is the mark of the beast and all of that. And these are the influential people that people listen to that are literally spewing and saying this mis and disinformation simply because this is a new and emerging technology, which it's really not, but a new and emerging, a newly popular, a newly accepted technology that many people aren't aware of and are not exactly sure how it works or how to use it. So of course, to cover for their lack of understanding, they'll dismiss it as this is something bad, which is what the United States government has been doing. And it shows in the pattern of their legislation and policies, aggressive towards cryptocurrency.
Regulatory clarity, they need regulatory certainty, and it really shouldn't be that difficult. Donald Trump has made a number of very comprehensive campaign promises to create the United States can lead in this space. We really have not seen anything meaningful from the Harris campaign, despite repeated pleas for that.
And this is actually true. Shout out to the cryptocurrency people. If you're a cryptocurrency investor advocate in my chat and you use Coinbase, if you go to Coinbase, please do me a favor to validate this point. Go to Coinbase and go to how does crypto fare in the polls and say what it says for each candidate about their positions on cryptocurrency. And you'll see that what it says in the app on Coinbase is literally exactly what she just said.
Mark, how do you see it?
Well, I mean, what we have seen from the Biden-Harris administration is that the bill that you were behind, the most crypto-friendly bill ever, they just vetoed, right? And now all of a sudden she's going to sidestep and pretend like maybe she's a fan of crypto. Look, one of the things that I mentioned during the break here, I don't know if this is true or not, but just to kind of put in perspective this potential size of this crypto voting block, somebody made a comment, there are more people in the U.S. that own crypto than dogs. And if that is true, wow, that's a pretty remarkable amount of people.
I'm having a hard time believing that.
The last comprehensive study was done in January of this year by Coinbase, and they said 52 million Americans own cryptocurrency today. And that was released in January. And of course, the spot Bitcoin ETFs launched a couple weeks after that. And we've had record inflows, billions of dollars of inflows into the ETF since. So I actually think that's a conservative measure.
Wow. So you're right, Mark.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
That is.
Can you help us with the profile just real quick? Who's a profile? Who's buying crypto? Are they more conservative, more liberal? Do they trust government? Do they distrust government? What's the profile?
This is a nonpartisan thing, and that's really...
Yeah, she beat me to the punch. I was going to say, you really can't pin cryptocurrency investors to partisanship in most cases, unless the cryptocurrency purchases are from a business that already has a partisan bias. In most cases, cryptocurrency has such a wide use case. There's many different people that invest in cryptocurrency or that hold cryptocurrency for different reasons. And honestly, the difference between each cryptocurrency user, right? I don't think it's something that is fully understood by the government, and I don't think that it's something that's been studied yet. I think that the highest correlation of people commonalities of why they buy cryptocurrency is two things. One, early investor attempting to get gains, and also a wide spanning demographic of people who, for whatever reason, have quote unquote lost faith in the financial system. And technically, the people that have quote unquote lost faith in the financial system, the people who are quote unquote doing things like hedging against inflation or holding Bitcoin as a commodity, those people would actually fall under those people who quote unquote don't have faith in the financial system, because they're hedging for risks. They're running quote unquote quality control to keep those beta coefficients and to keep those positive and negative correlations of up and down movement in their portfolio at a control line level. That's what they're doing. So as a result of trying to keep things at a control line level. They're doing risk management, right, to diversify their portfolio, which means that they don't have full faith in the financial system that encompasses all of the possible investments out there.
What we showed in our study is that both Republicans and Democrats actually surveyed very, very similarly. So people all across the aisle are investors in cryptocurrency. I do think it is younger generations. 60% of crypto owners are Gen Z and millennials. And interestingly, 4 out of 10 Black Americans are very pro-crypto.
4 out of 10 Black Americans are pro-crypto. Shout out to the white lady, because I tell you, I didn't hear that anywhere.
And crypto will be a determining factor at the polls for Black Americans.
Well, that poll found that voters believe former President Trump has a more supportive crypto stance than Vice President Harris. He's leading by 8 points. You just mentioned it. Last month, he stopped by at the crypto bar Pubkey.
Now, this is a very interesting data point, and I'm going to have to research this further. But I would be curious if that 4 out of 10 the 4 out of 10 Black people that are crypto investors or that hold crypto, I would be curious as to how that 4 out of 10 affects the increases in Black voters that Trump has seen, because as we know, Trump has tripled his Black support. It's increased by 300%. Now, I don't know what growth 4 out of 10 Black people holding cryptocurrency is currently today. I don't know where the time would start on the study of that statistic, so I don't know how that growth would be. But I'm curious as to how that 4 out of 10 number could possibly have some type of influence on these increases in Black voter support that Trump has had. Let me know what you guys think.
New York City, he used Bitcoin to pay for his burgers, and his family recently launched their own crypto project. The Trump campaign received $5 million in crypto donations during the third quarter of fundraising. And in August, I sat down with Trump at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Here's what he said about crypto.
You have to understand about crypto. Crypto is a very interesting thing, very high level in certain ways.
Now, here's how you know that Kamala Harris's campaign is sabotaging her. Wrong guy. Trump has done a complete 360-degree turn on cryptocurrency. Trump was like some of the other monolithians, and Trump said cryptocurrency is a scam. He said that. The tweet's out there. I'm sure you guys can look at screenshots and find it. All right. If you guys do find it, let me know in the comment section. If you don't find it, then, I'll find it and post it. Right. As much as Kamala Harris is being attacked on her flip-flopping, if they wanted to do line for line, oh man, they could blow Trump up on his position changes on crypto. And what they could also do is they could talk about how Trump was actually dealing with crypto while he was posting tweets saying that crypto is a scam. He's now, teamed up with pro crypto Elon Musk, and Trump is crypto. And you know what I'm saying? Like, his hair is the same color as a Bitcoin. And, it's just really weird, right? All of a sudden he's made these changes. Now, who knows? That might have something to do with JD Vance, because we all know that JD Vance has a tech background. And so maybe JD Vance might have sat him down and hipped him onto some game or something like that. But again, this is an instance where Trump has undeniably flip-flopped. Trump is a cryptocurrency flip-flopper. This is beyond doubt, right? If the Kamala Harris campaign had people behind her that actually wanted to see her win, that actually cared about her, they would nail Trump on cryptocurrency. But literally, no one is doing that. No one is doing that. And anybody that criticizes the Kamala Harris campaign is somehow an agent. But when you have people saying, hey, here's something that you could do to try to make your campaign stronger, and then you don't do it, how is that person an agent? If you ask me, the people that are the agents are the people that are telling Kamala Harris to highlight all of her weaknesses and don't do anything with her strengths. The best thing that you could possibly do is go on the people that are going to interview you the most aggressively platforms, so that you can leave a bad taste in the voters' mouths 2 weeks before the election. Yeah, that's great, right? That's like if you have zero head movement, then line up all of your next 10 boxing matches with a speed puncher. Like, okay, sure, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense. And then the person that says, that's not your bright spot, you might not really want to do that. Oh, you an agent. It doesn't make any sense.
Intellectually very high level, but if we don't do it, China's going to do it. So we might as well be at the forefront. And there are people in crypto that are very, very smart people who do love our country, and they think it's good. Who knows? Maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
But how do you want it to be more prominent in America? How will that work?
Oh, it's going to work easily. It's already prominent. It's moving along. It's very loosely regulated. That's one of the reasons it's moving along. But it is a different form of a currency, and it's going to end up benefiting the country already. I mean, if you look at the market, it's bigger than many countries.
So, Perrian, do you have clarity on what Trump wants to do with crypto and how he would use that in this economy?
Well, he's issued a number of he has a comprehensive policy proposal that he outlined during the Bitcoin conference earlier this year. Getting regulatory reform is really the most important because, again, the industry and the markets need regulatory clarity. Something new that he's recently said in your interview, your exclusive interview with him, he said maybe we'll pay off the $35 trillion in debt with cryptocurrency. He has not elaborated on.
That is actually very innovative. And believe it or not, it's actually very possible. It's actually very possible. As a matter of fact, MicroStrategies and BlackRock, depending on how cryptocurrency surges over the next 5 years, if they hold the majority of the crypto that they have now, I don't think that it would be out of the realms of possibility to say that those companies' net worth might be either approaching, at, or beyond the value of the United States national debt, which is very interesting.
What he means by that, but what I think it means is as you know, Bobby Kennedy has endorsed his campaign and teamed up with President Trump. Bobby Kennedy outlined a plan to buy 4 million Bitcoin for the U.S. government to buy 4 million U.S. Bitcoin and use that to pay off the debt.
Wow.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. And see, we'll talk about this in a future live stream.
Now Trump is it sounds like he's taking on Kennedy's.
So now, again, we're going to go into it briefly, but I've proposed before for Black people to invest in cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, as a way to quote unquote hedge against the risk of the racial wealth gap. But it's kind of hard to do that when you have people telling the very people that are suffering from this incoming zero net median in 2053 that cryptocurrency is a scam. How you know what I mean? So you have all of these things working against the ideas that you're trying to put forth. These things working against the ideas that you're trying to put forth that are based in zero fact, that are based on emotion, based on old school ideas, thoughts, and even bringing religion into the finance system. And you have no wiggle room to work. And when these things occur, and when you look back and when you see that there were viable ways to deal with these solutions, then at what point do we say why these things happened or why they continue to happen? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.
Proposal, which is why I believe the better Trump does.
Now, and I also got another question for you guys, and maybe some people will be brave enough to answer, and maybe some people won't. But here's my question: let's just say that the United States does successfully pay off their debt with Bitcoin or with some form of crypto. If the United States pays off its debt, which is smaller than the racial wealth gap, and the racial wealth gap is not paid off by investors who are able to have access to Bitcoin, my question is, in descending order from the highest to the lowest, quote unquote, who gets the blame for that? Let me know.
In the polls and in the prediction markets, the more Bitcoin is soaring, and we're seeing that in the market significantly this week.
It's up to 66 and change again. Analysts at Bernstein Research say that Bitcoin is being driven by improving odds of a Trump election win. Crypto stocks, he said, forecasting a Trump victory. We're just looking at Polymarket, and it looks like the predictions have Trump in the lead. But what do you want to see in terms of the regulatory framework? I mean, what is it that's giving you pause in terms of the clarity?
Well, the issue businesses have in operating regulated crypto companies here in the United States is that fear of enforcement, particularly from Gary Gensler's Securities and Exchange Commission. We do not have regulatory clarity on which digital assets are under the SEC's jurisdiction. So companies have to guess. And if you guess wrong, they come after you with the full force of the United States government and the Department of Justice, which only very, very few companies have the funding to go up against lawsuits like that. And the most important crypto companies in the United States are all in the middle of very, very complex litigation against the Securities and Exchange Commission. I think with some very clear statutory definitions, which is what Congress is currently working on to clarify where the SEC's jurisdiction begins and ends, where the CFTC's jurisdiction begins and ends, how stablecoins, which parameters they fit within the regulatory framework, and clarifying taxes would do a world of differences for businesses that want to build here in the United States.
Mark, this is one of the biggest issues that's stopping businesses from investing, a lack of clarity or too much regulation, or by the way, investigations. We were talking yesterday on this program about this op-ed in the Journal. Everyone is under investigation. And strategist Dan Clifton listed 41 companies with a wide range of business and market caps that they have in common. And what they have in common is that the Justice Department is reportedly investigating them. That puts a freeze, whether it's a lack of clarity on crypto or investigations up the kazoo. This puts a freeze on this.
And Dan Clifton also, one of the other pieces of his research report is he mentioned that over 40% of the companies in the S&P 500 are under investigation by the DOJ, which is absolutely insane to really put that in perspective. And that is one of the reasons that big tech specifically, while that has normally performed well when the Democrat nominee is ahead, it's now become a Trump trade because Trump is viewed as anti-DOJ and they're all under investigation, which is interesting.
He very famously said, cutting regulation is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So there's that. So this is interesting, right? So this video took some very interesting turns, and I'm glad it actually took the turns that it took, because now we can open up a conversation on some wider ranges of things. One of the wider ranges of things that we would have to ask the question about is one of the major talking points that people say is quote unquote we's about to be's a permanence underclass, right? So if we's about to be's a permanence underclass, and if there are people here, right, and that have been working with this stuff, and they believe that this is a currency, a financial system, a financial vehicle that is powerful enough to possibly cut or eliminate the United States national deficit. My question is, why would that not be investigated as a potential cut or way to eliminate the quote unquote racial wealth gap that everybody quote unquote claims to fear? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video to all of your subscribers. Make sure that you check out the next recommended video that will be popping up in the bottom left hand of the screen, and I will catch you all later. All right, peace.